Hello there. Welcome to Tubi Tuesday. I'm Scotty. You're not. And weird to light. Is that you see a light from underneath? Like, oh, ha ha ha. Hold on a minute. Weird. Never done that before. Where the light comes in, hits underneath. The sun comes in, hits underneath, and all of a sudden you can see underneath, like it's flashlight underneath. Anyway, welcome to Tuesday Tuesday. I'm Scotty. You're not. And we are talking today about Wedding Crashers, which is a first time watch for me. I know, there are a lot of, those comedies that came out in the mid 2000s kind of went over my head. Some of them. There were some like Van Wilder that I loved. American Pie movies were good. And they say that Wedding Crashers was one that revitalized the rated R comedy, which is good. And I enjoyed this movie to a certain point that they had this movie. This movie was on the way to being, it was very close to a To the Moon. I swear to you. It was so close getting it to the moon because it has the stereotypical rom-com stuff in it, but that's fine. You used to it right now. You should accept that's going to be in a rom-com. It's like some sort of third act breakup. Then there's two in this. This is the whole liar reveals the story, which happens in some rom-coms. You're used to that stuff. It works. But then, and I was like, okay, this is still pretty good. I know where we're going from here. He's going to have depression, and then he's going to end up realizing something, and, realizing he loves her, and then go, get her. That sort of thing. And I was all on board for that. I'm okay, as long as it works, it works. This could be a To the Moon. You know what I mean? This could be a To the Moon all day. And then they brought in a cameo that made me go, nope. Nope. And I wouldn't hold this. You might think that I'm being petty by holding this against the movie and saying just because of this cameo, you are going to get it down one grade. Yes. But what is the cameo? I will tell you when I get to it. So the story is of two friends, John and Jeremy. They don't believe in love. So they crash weddings and hook up with chicks. Hook up with women. Hook up with women. They have sex. That sort of thing. Like at the beginning, you get sort of a montage of stuff, and we always hear that there's Jeremy learned from this guy, Chaz, which is mentioned a couple times. Well, they crash this one wedding and they meet two girls. Gloria, played by Isla Fisher, who's like the crazy kooky sister, and Rachel McAdams. I don't remember her name. I'm sorry. And they both sort of try to hook up with them. Rachel McAdams' character has a boyfriend / fiance / future husband, Zach. It's like they wrote Zach down, but accidentally put an S instead of a Z and just kept it. Whose name is Zach? Because he's a football guy? I don't know. Played by Bradley Cooper, who is the biggest asshole, and I hated him in this movie. And props, to Bradley Cooper. He's good at playing an asshole. Even as Rocket, the asshole comes out of it. You know what I mean? So he's good in that role, but I hated him in this movie. I mean, I hated the character. He was good. I hated the character. The father is played by Christopher Walken. Yeah, he's in there doing his thing. Boom, bow. He doesn't go full out crazy Walken. He's just sort of a normal character, which makes me question why you hired Christopher Walken. The crazy family member character, besides Isla Fisher, is the grandma, who I think is also Happy Gilmore's grandma from that movie. I think it's the same actress. Rest in peace. But yeah, and then you have Jane Seymour, Bond girl herself, playing the mother or stepmother, whatever. She's got new boobs. We don't get to see them. Although this is the R-rated version, maybe the unrated version, you see something. Who knows? There wasn't a lot of tits in this, which for an R-rated comedy, it's confusing. But again, they did release an unrated cut, which I think you see more. Jane Seymour. I want to see more, honestly. But anyway, uh, yeah, and she hits on Jeremy at one point, and then there's maybe this is one thing that was kind of unnecessary to me, but overall, it's called overlooked. It is the brother who's gay and hits on Jeremy, and it was unnecessary. He's just been tied down and duct taped by Isla Fisher, and then like he comes in and it's like, I saw you staring at me. I saw you at my paintings. And it's like, okay, we could have ended this scene and I wouldn't have questioned it. Like having the weird brother character in the background is one thing, but like I don't think we needed to have any character exploration with him. We already had that sort of thing, and so we didn't need that scene. But it wasn't a deal breaker. I was still ready to give this a to the moon rating. I was because I liked it. It's a story, you know. It's an age old story. They're liars. It's the liars reveal. They're in there, they're hooking up, pretending to be, you know, different people, and then you know it's John, one of Wilson's character. Wow, he says wow in this. Who so is Bradley Cooper was like, hey, that's not your word. He's like, wow, and I'm like, it's not your word. And then he's like, oh wow, yeah, see that's how you do it. Anyway, who falls in love with Rachel McAdams' character, even though she has like a boyfriend. And at one point, he's ready to tell her, but he's not able to do it because, of course, asshole boyfriend, Zach, has hired a private investigator to, you know, check up on these guys. And so, an issue is that they always say, oh, you know, we're Uncle Ned's kids. So, are they supposed to be related to the family? Is that we're Uncle Ned's kids? We're Uncle Ned's kids. Was it Uncle Ned on the... Who got married where he met these people? Is it a cousin or something? If that's the case, are they on the side of... I don't know. It's very confusing. Even when they're like, Uncle Ned's like, Uncle Ned, and I'm like, but wait, if you're trying to say you're related to them, why are you hitting on the daughters? I don't know. Maybe just didn't catch it. It's confusing to me, but I don't know. They just... I mean, I don't know. But, yeah, and it goes the way you think it's going to go. You know, Sack reveals the lie, reveals stuff. Isla Fisher is still in love with Jeremy. So there's that. I forgot her name now. I had it. Gloria. Gloria's still in love with Jeremy, but Rachel McAdams wants nothing to do with Owen Wilson, and so he kind of just leaves. Here's the thing, though. That I had me going, okay, what? It's like Sack always talks about, oh, we're gonna get married someday. We're gonna get married someday. And she always has this look like, even one time she's like, okay, let's just, you know, not right away, you know. And then all of a sudden he's just like, at one time dinner, he's like, she and I are getting married. And I was like, wait, what? And everyone's like, hey, I'm like, you missed something. It's called a proposal. Hello? Like, he doesn't propose her. He's just like, hey, we're getting married. He's one of those guys who just assumes that this is how it's going to go. Like, we are going to get married. This is what's going to happen. But you think a proposal. No. And then she just somehow goes along with it after the liar is revealed. And John just goes back to his ways. He finds out that Jeremy is, you know, still seeing Gloria. And then he gets all mad, but then they make up, and he's like, hey, Gloria and I were getting married. I want you to be the best man. He's like, no, get out, no. Kindly leave, no. And he's done with it. Before I get to my biggest negative, to put it down a grade, and if you know me, you probably already know what it is, but I will say, up to this point, the comedy was great. The chemistry between the two characters is great. Like, I always quote the scene. You remember you? That thing. I love that. I've seen that scene a million times. And yeah, they have great comedy together. They work well together. They work well off of each other. And yeah, and even the actresses are great. You know, Rachel McAdams, Isla Fisher. Isla Fisher is hilarious, playing this kooky girl who said she's a virgin, but she's not. Sorry, I had this tickle in my throat that just won't go away. It's like a big tickle in my throat. Anyway, she plays this. Like she says she's a virgin, but she's not. So I thought that's what you wanted to hear. So I'm thinking, oh, she was playing him too. But no, they just end up in love and they get married. And so this is the big turning point for the movie where I was like, okay, this is on point. If everything goes great, it's gonna be typical of a rom-com. But it's like, you know what? I'd be fine with it. As long as, everything goes the way that you think it's going to, which it does, but they take a speed bump. Because John decides to go visit Chaz. And I could tell from the silhouette who it was, and I went, fuck no. Will Ferrell. And wouldn't you know it, to quote Billy Madison, you had it, and then you blew it. Yes, this for me, take it out, this movie's perfect. To me. This ruined the movie for me. Like, not completely ruined, but I was just like, no. And it's not just one scene where he talks to him. Like, if he had this one scene where he came and talked to him, and he realized, this guy's living with his mom, but he keeps doing this stuff, you realize that if he keeps doing this, he's going to ruin his life. So he jumps out and goes for love. But no, they drag this on. He decides to take him under his wing, and they crash a funeral for some reason. And the whole time, Will Ferrell would not shut the fuck up. You're like, whatever the guy's name is. I muted it. I couldn't do it. I muted that whole scene. And you didn't even need the words in there. Because it's how he looks at the widow, how John looks at the widow, and what he sees makes you realize that you didn't need any words. Muted, this scene is better. If you mute it, here's a tip. When you get to Chaz, mute it. And tell Chaz is off the screen, and unmute it, and the movie is perfect. Because then he can shut Will Ferrell up. Okay? He ruins the movie. His scenes are terrible. Because Will Ferrell's biggest problem, I said this before, he doesn't know when to shut the fuck up. He doesn't know. He goes too over and high with his comedy. Being loud does not equal funny. Okay? Louder volume of voice does not equal funny. There are some times when it can be funny, but when you go too big, too loud, it's just annoying. And that's why I can't stand Will Ferrell in most movies. Right? He used to say there were 3 movies I could handle him in. Step Brothers, Stranger Than Fiction, and Elf. And to an extent, The Goods, because he dies in that movie. But I watched Elf with my son this past Christmas, and I was about to lose it. I couldn't deal with it. Good thing we were going to bed, because I muted the thing and went to sleep. No, I'm sorry. No. And the reason why the other 2 is that in Stranger Than Fiction, he's way subdued. It's a more serious role. He's not outrageous that I remember. I haven't seen it in years. And with Step Brothers, at least he has John C. Reilly to kind of riff off of, and they work better as a duo. I can't stand him in anything else. He was good. I remember him being good in Saturday Night Live. The Jeopardy stuff was good. The whole cheerleader thing was funny. Even the whole hot top sketch that he has, that those were funny. And then for some reason, he just decided when he went to do movies, he just had to be louder and louder and louder. And to me, you take this scene out, like I said, movie's perfect. Anyway, it goes the way I think it's going to go. He shows up at Jeremy's wedding. Security tries to stop him. He's like, hey, that's the best man. And so he's in there, and then he confesses his love to her, right? And the boyfriend is like, hey, hey, get out of here. You get back up on the altar, which she does. So I don't understand, what the big deal about her going on the altar is. Because it's not like... I think this would have made more sense if it was her wedding, and he crashed it. And then he's yelling at her to get up on the altar, because she ends up going back on the altar for the wedding. It's her sister's wedding. So I don't know what that exchange was supposed to be about, but, whatever. And this time, unlike earlier times, Jeremy gets in there, knocks him the fuck out. I want to talk about one thing here first. The football scene where Jeremy just keeps getting laid out while John is trying to hit on Rachel McAdams. He's like, no, he's fine. And he thinks he's faking it at first. Like, no, I'm not faking it. I'm in pain. And then they decide they're going to crash their wedding together, all four of them. And then, we're a traveling band. And I'm like, you might need to change some clothes because someone's in a wedding dress. He's in a tuxedo. Yeah, you might need to quick change of wardrobe here. Like, they had. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie so much that I went to eBay and I put the Blu-ray in my cart. So hopefully, if no one buys it, I'll buy it. When it comes to Wedding Crashers, it's pretty good. As close as you can get to the moon, but I just can't give it that rating. Will Ferrell ruined it. He ruined it. And that just proves my point that he ruins movies. This movie could have been perfect if he wasn't in it. This movie could have been perfect. I don't know. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the Wedding Crashers? No comments, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.